What's happening, people? Welcome to another episode of the Flex and Rant Show. Listen, we've got to start off by apologies to you lot for last week, man. A few technicals with the audio, the cameraman smiling behind. He knows it was all his fault. Yeah, I'm looking at you. Yeah. But still, 30,000 of you still managed to watch it because it was working on my phone. It was working on your phone.
Yeah, it was working on mine as well, but it was the audio. It was only on like portables, innit? On phones.
Yeah, some other devices, just tablets and that. It just wasn't having it. So apologies for that, but we're back live because a lot of you lot were disappointed. Get out of the way. Got to talk about this though. Firstly, 2 points. No, not 2 points. 2 games, should I say? On the bounce. Doing well.
In the pink as well.
In the pink, man. Start wearing the pink for the home game.
Best kit in the league, fam. That's what I'm saying.
It's a sick kit. I'm loving it. I'm loving the boys in pink. All the old school dinosaur fans who were like, no, pink, no. Loving it.
It looks sensational. Obviously, it looks better on me than the players, but it's a great kit.
It is. If we continue to build this momentum, you look at the next 3 games, looking like a 9-pointer really. You know, it's West Ham. Well, it starts off with Wolves, West Ham, then Newcastle at home. You know, you're thinking, or maybe, Newcastle at home, West Ham away. Should be a 9-pointer. If we then go into that period in November, then, you know, not far off the top, could we actually start to maybe believe in a title challenge, title push?
No, blood. You know what I'm saying? Like, let's be realistic now. Do you know what I'm saying? I'll be happy with a top 3 finish. We haven't competed for the title, post Sir Alex Ferguson. So why the hell do we think we're going to compete for the title this season, bruv? Based on what, innit? Let's be realistic. Let's be very realistic now, Like, I'm not talking about competing. I just want to take every game as it comes and just try and keep winning. And then if it gets to past Christmas, a January, and we're there or thereabouts, then I'll start thinking
that's what I was going to ask you. Where would be your cut-off point to say, do you know what? We're only 5 points off, and I tell you what, it's middle of January now.
Yeah, exactly. If it's mid-Jan and we're within 6 points of the top, then man can talk, because we've seen what's happened in previous times. I'm not trying to get too carried away, because at the end of the day, we've only had one borderline test and we failed it spectacularly at home. Do you know what I mean? So I'm not trying to get too carried away.
Yeah. Chris Smalling, man, I got to talk about Christian Smallingson, as I call him.
Cristiano Smaldini, blood, I'm telling you, blood.
New hairdo, fresh off the presser in the Kanye West video. You know what I mean? He's doing bits. Should he get more respect? Like, one thing I will say about Chris Smalling is he's got his critics. I've criticised him in the past for not having that consistency. But he's way better than Jones. Let's get that out there. Yeah,
I always said if we had to sell one of them, Phil Jones every time.
First out the door.
Smalling's fitter than Phil Jones. Yeah. And he's our best player in the air. When we come to these games where we're playing physical teams, Smalling is the first name on the team sheet, bro, because he knows you'll get up the back of that striker, bro. He'll stick a foot in, he'll get his head on.
He was brilliant against Watford, wasn't he? Obviously, the goal was well taken, but from a defensive point of view, he was right up Troy Deeney. He was winning everything in the air.
And Troy Deeney played well as well.
Yeah, he did.
But Smalling was superb, man.
What about, like, you talk about the captaincy thing and that, the whole Valencia thing. What about putting an arm around someone like Chris Smalling, who doesn't really get a mention for that, and saying, you know, he's been here over 10 years. Chris Smalling, I tell you what, you're my guy. You're going to play every game centre half. I'm going to put my...
That's where you fucked up. What do you mean every game, blood? No. 1, he can't stay fit enough to play every game, and 2, he's not good enough, innit? Like, to be playing every game. For me, Jose's bought 2 centre halves, play them together, innit? Like, that's it. That's it. But Chris Smalling, for them physical games, you know what you're going to get from him. Like, he's a very, very good squad player to have, but his fitness is questionable.
But what if he maintains? If I flip that, not flip it, but if he continues to perform how he's performing I know it's only been 2 games. Yeah. But if he does do that for 10, 15 games, surely that's what we want.
But if we can get the Chris Smalling that played for LVG, cool. You know what I'm saying? Mike Smalling, blood. If he can do that, do you know what I'm saying? Then I'm more than happy for him to play centre half with somebody like him and Bailly or him and Lindelof. But yeah, like he did what he needed to do. Same with Ashley Young. Ashley Young played really well.
I just think Ashley Young did play really well. Before we touch on him, I just think with Smalling, it's kind of like, I've seen this before. I've seen Smalling go on like a run of good performances.
Yeah, but then he gets injured.
And then either gets injured or just has a few howlers. Yeah. And you're just like, this is why you were just never going to be good enough with players like that still at the club. But I'm all for it. You know, it's all about giving him some appreciation and recognising when players are playing well. If they're playing shit, we would say they're playing shit and say they've been playing shit for too long. But equally, if they're playing well, they're playing well. Another player's been playing well over the last 2 games. Marouane Fellaini. For his role that he's been brought in to do, he's done. We've seen, especially when Minu was at the Watford game, we saw some bits where he tried to do what he's not good at, i.e. passing and play football with his feet. It all went to shit. But by and large, he's been very effective with what Jose's asked him to do. He's asked him to screen the back four, break up play and be awkward. And like Jose said, he does everything I asked him to do, all the simple things. Does he deserve a bit of praise?
Yeah, absolutely. But for me, Fellaini, his best position will always be like just off the front man for me, innit? Because he's a handful. He's great in the air. He can score goals. He can bring down the ball and bring people into play. If I was playing him, I'd play him there or not at all. But that number 6 role, he's trying to make him the new Carrick. He'll never be that because he can't pass urine, bruv. Do you know what I mean? But against a team like Watford or any team that's going to be physical and perhaps try and go long, Fellaini's a brute, innit? He's a destroyer. He's brought in there to just make it ugly, and he's done the job very well. Anything over a 5-yard pass, like, leave it out. But credit where it's due. So, again, he's done his job, man. He's very disciplined. I think that's what Jose likes about him. He just does the job that he's asked.
So for all the hate that he's got, you know, why is he signing a new contract? He should get out of our club. And it's funny how football changes. I, for one, said I just didn't like the way he kept the club hanging on a shoestring right to the last minute. I think for a player of his ability, we're perfectly capable of selling someone like that and getting someone better. However, I did say Fellaini is a plan B. He can be effective, and if he's used in the right way, is it bit of an applause to Jose then as well, because he wanted to keep him there for these reasons, for these type of games, to count on him, to know he's going to give that physical side. So that's someone that Jose's identified and is using him. We talk about Jose not getting the best out of our players. He gets the best out of Fellaini.
Yeah, but on the flip side, you could argue that wanting to have a player of Fellaini's ilk at the club, that shows the direction that Jose really wants to take, man. Because for me, he was a deep lying playmaker, but he can't make play, bruv. Do you know them ones there? Like, we're playing Watford, and you putting him as a destroyer, when really and truly, we need someone that can play football. Because the reason why our attacks are so lethargic is because we don't have someone that gets on the ball, turns, and then passes it forward and initiate the attack. Who initiates the attacks for us? It's supposed to be your number 6, but we got Fellaini there. Do you know what I mean? So it's always going to go sideways, or it's going to go forward 5 yards. Whereas, remember, there were times when Fellaini got the ball and I said, if that's Carrick, he's dropping that over the top. Lukaku's through, mate.
He doesn't have the ability to get his head up quickly and see things and get us initiated. I think as a byproduct of having him in the side, we'll have to accept it's like a double-edged sword. It's kind of like, well, by having him in there, we know we're going to get security from set pieces and being ugly and making fouls and breaking up play. But if we need a fast break and it falls to him and we need to play, then God help us.
This is it. So that's what I said. I said it was a statement of what Jose, the kind of football Jose wants to play. Because you look at other teams, that's the reason why City can play a David Silva in central midfield, bruv. And look at the size of him. He's not central midfielder, he's a number 10. But he can play that role because of the system. It allows him to be creative just from slightly deeper. Do you know what I'm saying? When you've got someone like a Fellaini and a Matic, and between the two of them they can't pass forward, how do you expect to attack quickly? Like, it's not possible.
Then it's left to someone like Pogba, who's the only one in that midfield who's looking to attack.
Exactly, but then if Pogba drops too deep, then we've got 3 deep lying players. Pogba was immense against Watford because he was playing with freedom and he was playing high up the pitch. He had more shots on target than any other player. Ben Foster made 2 very good saves from Pogba. Pogba was getting onto the end of crosses, getting into the box, going forward.
We haven't seen that from him.
We've never seen that of him in a United shirt, apart from the second half against Man City. We haven't seen that of Pogba. Why? Because he had 2 people behind him. But the only problem is who gets the ball forward to Pogba. Because both of them pass sideways. So again, the balance still isn't quite right.
Are you looking at that balance? I saw times in that Watford game, because let's make no mistake, the performance wasn't great. Even in the first half, don't get me wrong, we scored 2 good goals, so we controlled Watford very decent. We were comfortable. But I remember saying to you, I was like, just because we're not being pressed, why do we still feel the need to play slowly? And I felt that, like Watford, I was pleasantly surprised. I said in my match review after, I was pleasantly surprised that I thought it would have been more difficult in that first half, especially with Watford with their tails up. So, all right, cool. But it felt like we were taking that for granted, like we still wasn't trying to force the issue. Yes, we've played slightly better than recent months. I'm not disputing that, but still not quick enough. It was still lethargic. And in the second half, I mean, 2-0 up. I know 2-0 is that scoreline, but go for the throw, go for the kill. We should be going out and seeing that game off. And at least Jose come out and said, I was annoyed by that. Like they came and dropped the tempo. We had chances to kill the game and maybe could have on a different day. But there was no chances that I thought, oh, that should have been a goal.
Yeah.
Like, it was a good save from Foster, from the Pogba chances, etc. But
Jose always says that, but then he makes negative changes. How can you say, oh, I wanted the team to kick on, and then you take off Jesse Lingard when Sanchez was playing shit?
And he put McTominay
and then
right
you put
wing.
McTominay on as well, bro. Like, Jose makes negative substitutions, and then he wonders why the football goes negative. What do you fucking expect, mate? Do you know what I mean? It don't make no sense. Jesse's our most dynamic player, and he likes to make third man runs forward. So you take him off, then you fucking leave on Sanchez, who always cuts in from the left, never tries to run in behind, whereas Jesse does. Like, what football did you expect when you make a change like that? So for him to say...
It was like he was trying to see out the game. Yeah,
it looked like he was trying to see out the game. At 2-1, away from home, you make an attacking change, bro. You don't make a defensive change.
He did bring on Martial, and...
Yeah, but for Jesse, you should have left Jesse on and taken off Sanchez, because Martial and Jesse were both trying to run in behind. Sanchez doesn't run in behind. He wants everything to feet, cut inside, same dink ball. Most of the time it goes up for a fucking goal kick.
Let's talk about Sanchez, because that's high on the agenda. Does he get the correct amount of criticism when he hasn't been playing well? He's come with not a huge price tag, but huge wages.
He's come with huge expectation, bro.
Huge expectation. Yeah. Ever present in the starting lineup at the expense of not Martial FC, and forget Martial, even if it's Rashford, even if it's Jesse going out of there, even if it's Mata coming out of there, at the expense of anyone else even having a go.
All attacking players, because him and Lukaku start all the time, which means there's only one space up for grabs. And we've got Rashford, Martial, Mata, Jesse, who can all argue that they've done enough in previous times to get a starting slot. So that's 4 men going for one spot because he's come in.
Why is that happening? Why? I feel like Jose, is a manager. If you're playing crap week in, week out, normally you don't have a bar with that. Like, if you're not doing what he's asking you to do and you're not performing and you're not contributing, you're gone. We've seen that with Martial. We've seen it with the inconsistency sometimes with Rashford. Yes, he gives him a lot of minutes and came out with all the facts and that. I get that. But by and large, he's got his favourites, which is like a Lukaku, so he can go ages without scoring or playing badly. I remember last season, people were like, why doesn't he just have a rest? Like, put Martial up front, put Rashford, yeah? Why are we seeing it with Sanchez that no matter how badly this guy plays and for how long, and people would jump on Martial's back, jump on Pogba's, jump on whoever's back, Rashford, whatever, he's either immune from the criticism, from the people who don't want to give it to him, and he's still playing.
Because he runs a lot. And Jose likes guys that run a lot.
He looks like he's
working. It looks like he's working hard and he's contributing a lot, because this is what it looks like. But in reality, he's doing fuck all, bruv. Do you know what I'm saying? I'm tired of it, innit? And I was a fan of his. Like, I've got a Sanchez scarf, blood. So it's not even personal with Alexis Sanchez. I have a Sanchez scarf, blood, in my house.
What, a chili one?
No, like I'm a United one.
Oh, sorry. Okay, I was going to say, I knew it wouldn't be Arsenal.
As soon as we signed him, I went to Old Trafford and
you got
the straight away.
Because that, like you said, that's the expectancy.
Because that was the expectation. Flipping Premier League Player of the Season.
Do you feel like burning it now?
Do you know what I'm saying? No, I don't feel like burning it, but I just haven't worn it. Do you know what I'm saying? Because it's disgraceful what he's coming and put in. Do you know what I'm saying? Like, and the thing is, I blame the manager for that more so than him. Because
he's picking him.
Because you're picking him, and 2, like, what are you asking him to do? You put him in a system that clearly he can't play in. He doesn't know whether he's coming or going at the club. He looks complete like he's playing his own game of football on his own from everyone else.
He did.
That's what he looks like. You know what I'm saying? You're playing him on this left-hand side. Why? You brought on Martial on the right wing. Sanchez on the left is so predictable. He cuts in every time. And he never tries to run at a player. When have you ever seen him pick up the ball, dribble and try and commit a player and go... Never. So don't play him on the left wing. Play him centrally, or play him on the right wing. Which
is never going to happen under Jose in terms of centrally, because, you know, Lukaku's his #1 favourite, and that's just how it will be. You see people that jump straight on Martial and Pogba, and we will talk about that. It seems like Sanchez doesn't have that same energy around that criticism.
He's the highest paid player in the Premier League and at the club, but Pogba gets more stick than him. But Martial gets more stick than him, but Fellaini gets more stick than him. Like, it's just going over a lot of people's head, and that's what I mean about keeping the same energy for certain players, man. Like, it's a joke. It's an absolute disgrace, man. And the thing is, even with Rom, Rom played shit, but he scored, innit? And that's his biggest superpower. If he was a superhero, that's what it would be, blood. He scores even when he's not playing well, fam. Do you know what I mean? Because he played shit. Like, the goal was a tap-in anyway. But other than that, like, man didn't really offer nothing. Like, Pogba played him a beautiful pass that he slid round and it was right in front of us, and he could have taken it first time in his right foot.
Yeah, and he started.
And in the end, he started, and then he tried to cut in, then he tripped over the ball.
And there was times where Pogba was trying to play with him, intricate football, bouncing it off,
and it was just dead.
And he just messed up. There was one touch, it hit off his foot, then his head.
His head, then his hand. Bruv, that's why he divides opinion. Because me, like, I don't care, bruv. I don't care how many goals you've scored and all of that. Like, people like to point out, yeah, but he scored that and he scored that tap in and that. But, bruv, like, what are you giving me for 90 minutes, guys? We're giving me for 90 minutes. Like, for me, if I'm picking a team, you're not starting up front, bruv. You're not. I don't care, because, yeah, you can score goals and that, but you're meant to be the pivot in the team. Did you see how Troy Deeney led the line for Watford? Like, that's an example for anyone that plays in that position as a lone striker. That's what you're meant to do. You're supposed to be the pivot. When the ball comes in, it's supposed to stick, and then we build attacks off you. Another reason why we don't attack well is because Rom don't hold the ball well. Yeah,
we saw that plenty of times. Like, well, we've seen it throughout his United career. We know his touch is
every time the ball comes into him, like, he's best facing the way he wants to play, bruv. He's all right. When he's got the ball at his feet, he can actually dribble with it, kind of commit players and put in a cross and stuff. He plays like a little man, but he's a big man. In his head, he thinks he's a little man, but his touch says otherwise, and his agility says otherwise. Like, he doesn't back into players, hold it, lay it off, and spin off and all that. That's not his strength.
He hasn't got that kind of football brain.
He doesn't have that.
And football ability.
Yeah.
He doesn't have the ability. What I will say about Lukaku, which I've said 100 times, and some people like to differ with that opinion, but this is why Lukaku is not world class.
Yeah, he's not.
Like, it's very clear to me. He's very good, and if you play to his strengths, he can be excellent, but not world class. He's not clinical enough. He can't play the football that world-class teams would need to play. He can't play that.
But this is
that's not me knocking him. Listen, I love Rom. I love Lukaku. But I embrace him for what he's good at and understand his flaws.
He's a very good Premier League level striker, bro.
Yes, and he's shown that. He gets consistent numbers since he's been at West Brom.
Yeah, everyone will say, oh yeah, but look how many goals he scored and that. Yeah, that's good, innit? That's all well and good. But being a complete footballer, like, is about more than that. Like, it's just like with us, Chicharito Hernandez, he was one of the most potent finishers at the club. But outside the box, he's useless, bro. He's got no feet. He can't link play, and that's why he couldn't stay at United for a prolonged period of time. Because football's evolving now. There's no pure number 9s anymore. As a front man, you have to be able to kind of do everything, innit? And I feel like technically, Lukaku lets himself down, bro. Do you know what I mean? And that's why, for me, like, I hate watching us play with him up front, because it forces us to play more direct, because we can't play the intricate football because he's not about that. Because remember I was saying to you, the way Firmino plays for Liverpool, he's not a striker.
Brilliant.
But because he's so technically sound, he can hold the ball and bring people in. Jesse Lingard could do that for us. We could easily play Jesse in that position, bouncing the ball off, and then play Rashford and Martial either side of him. We could do that. Or we could play Sanchez down as a false 9 and play Jesse and Martial or Jesse and Rashford either side of him and play fluid football. We could, if we had the right coach.
Yeah, because under Mourinho, he's always got his big man up top, whether it'll be Diego Costa or Drogba.
Drogba.
Obviously, he had Ronaldo. That's a different story.
But
Had
Costa
Zlatan,
could hold the ball, though.
Costa, exactly, and that's the thing. He likes that big, strong striker. That's just so. That little nimble false 9 would just never happen under Jose.
It would never happen under Jose, and that's why, for me, bro, we've got the players. We just need a new coach, innit? Like,
don't get me wrong. Lukaku, love him to bits, and he gets numbers.
What he's good at, he's the best in the world at that. Do you know what I'm saying? He's the best in the world at that.
Yeah.
But I think we have so many good, technically sound players around him that he just bugs it out, bro. Like right in the final third, and that's why our attacking. Remember, I said Jose was looking for a defender after all this time, but defensively we're all right, bro. We need to attack better. That's where we lose, because we could have drawn that game. De Gea made some very good saves. We could have drawn that game. Why? Because we don't attack well enough. We should
don't
have
finish off teams.
Tapped Watford up. First half, when we were 2-0 up, we could have done 4-0 on them. Do you know what I mean? And
we don't have that cutthroat mentality, that go for the kill mentality in us right now, and that's a worry.
No, we don't, and Jose's not that kind of guy. He's happy. Once you get the second goal, he's already thinking about how we can contain them. Do you know what I'm saying? And again, that you can't say that that mentality doesn't rub off on the players. It does, because the players must think, all right, cool, we're 2-0 up. And then we came out like we came out against Spurs. Luckily, Watford didn't do us. Luckily.
Yeah, it was. It could have. Yeah, exactly. On a different day, like I said in my review, that's a 2-2 game, or we could have lost.
And we're pissed. Yeah. Do you know what I mean? From singing and all that, to leaving the stadium deflated.
Yeah, look at half-time. Half-time, everyone was buzzing around, getting pies.
Getting pies and that, blood.
Rant's got a pie.
Man got a pie. I even used a fork, blood. You know them ones there? Trust me, it's all mad, cuz. So yeah, man, like, we still need to wrap teams, man, but we got the 3 points, I'm gassed.
And that's all that matters, isn't it? Building momentum. Like, we know we're not going to play great football. We can see that it's improved slightly. Like me and you, we did. Even Rants, Rants, he was in the... I don't know if you lot saw my Instagram story, but I said, Rants, celebrate, bruv, we scored. And even Rants was like, yeah, you know what? At least we're getting chances. Pogba was fire up the pitch, and that's got to have come from Jose in some way in terms of
Michael Carrick, blood. From what I'm hearing, Michael Carrick's had a lot more say. Pogba was roaming free, getting shots off, playing beautiful passes, doing what he does, bro.
Just before we move on from that little era of the show, what do you want to say to the fans who probably still feel, because there were some fans saying, why are you getting gassed? Not you specifically. Why is everyone getting gassed over Pogba having one good game? He should be doing this all the time. Should have sold him in the summer. What do you say to the Pogba outers?
Well, Pogba does do it a lot of the time, and guess what? Remember, like I said to you, that pass that he played to Lukaku in the World Cup, he played that to Mbappe, blood, and a goal came from it. Pogba, the movement in front of Paul Pogba is shambolic. It's a disgrace, isn't it? That's why I say, what do they do in training? When Pogba gets the ball and he gets his head up, he has to take 2, 3, 4 touches because there's no movement. In the World Cup, he played a half-volleyed 30-yard pass into the... Do you remember that? We don't have that movement in our team, so Pogba can't play those passes. He has to take 2, 3, 4 touches. That is the problem. It's not that he doesn't try for us or it's not in his locker, because Pogba's always gone in his locker. He played some beautiful crossfield balls, like Scholes-esque balls against Watford, but the difference is the movement ahead of him is very poor. Sanchez's movement is horrible. He wants it to feet all the time.
But feet to not beat no one, because if you wanted to feet, if you got a good football brain, you'd want the ball to feet because you're a dribbler and you want to entice someone into tackle, and you're going to take it round them or take him inside or whatever. And
he doesn't hug the touchline either, so it's not like he's hitting it out. Whereas Martial stands on the chalk. Rashford will try and run in behind or something. He's got nothing to hit. It's not his fault. Like, watch the game. Like, don't just read the newspaper and see, he got a 4 out of 10. Like, watch the game. When he gets the ball, what's going on?
Have those fans who wanted him gone or said, I don't want to keep going back to the Pogba situation. We spoke about it in last week's show, but just quickly, have they got a point though that he hasn't been consistent? But I know you said last week because no one has. Yeah. So really, in fact, we're just going. You know what? I'm going to stop there on that because I don't want to just. I want the Flex and Rant show we want it to be different each week and not keep going over the same stuff. Get
behind the bloody players. Everyone's talking about getting behind the manager. Get behind the players, innit? Pogba is our best player, bruv. Like, Pogba and David De Gea are world-class players that we have. We only have 2.
So hold on to them.
Yeah, get behind them, innit? All this bullshit, you're not fit to wear the shirt, bruv. If Pogba's not fit to wear the Manchester United shirt, blood, then we're not Manchester United anymore, blood. Because we have a truly world-class talent in Paul Pogba.
What I would say to you lot, guys, is think back to probably coming up to around this time last year, maybe October time, when Pogba got injured. And everyone was saying our season fell apart, and all the United fans. I remember being outside Old Trafford speaking to fans week in, week out in Pogba's injury, and then when he got sent off against Arsenal, same thing happened.
And he was playing very well,
and everyone kept saying, because we got no Pogba. And then even Sky Sports and BT, whatever pundits, they were doing all their stats, which I don't like to talk about stats too much, but there are some stats that...
With and without Pogba stats.
Exactly. And it goes to say, so just take a second and think. If you want Pogba at the club, fine, that's your opinion. But just take a second to think. Where were you when he was putting in those performances and we were saying we couldn't even create chances without him? I'll leave it there. On the positive, boom, we've got 2 tickets. 2 tickets to give away for the Carabao Cup game. 2 tickets. Don't want you to see the details on there. 2 tickets to the Carabao Cup game against Derby. There's a competition running for that. So make sure you guys follow United Stand TV on Instagram. There's going to be a post of these 2 tickets. All you need to do is make sure you're following and drop a comment under that. You're going to get a chance. You and a friend, you and a loved one. Just a pair. Tickets are together. Seats are right together. I'll be at the game as well and get to come do a fan cam at the end of the game, come meet myself, and we'll have some fun talking about when we smashed Frank Lampard 4-0. Moving on, man. We go Champions League.
Yes.
Young boys. Do you know what? I was supposed to check the stats actually before I come on there, my bad. But they've started the season very well. I do know that much. Very difficult place to go. I don't think they've lost a game so far. Tough. It's going to be tough. We should, on paper, we should beat them. But what are you expecting out of that game? We know Luke Shaw's starting as well.
Yeah, we should beat them. Do you know what I mean? Like, as I said, these kind of games, this is like when we was in the Europa League. Like, I expect to beat these teams like Young Boys, you know what I'm saying? Kevin Spacey's favourite team, blood. You know them was there, like, yeah, bruv. You know that was funny, blood. Yeah.
Mark, because I know what Mark will be like, oh, flex. Mark's going to be like, listen, don't
you can't censor me, blood. I don't care, blood. You know what I'm saying?
Have a word with Rants next time.
Let me live, blood. Let me live, blood. I have to do that. You know what I'm saying? It can't be too safe, not all the time. You know what I'm saying? But yeah, we need to beat them, innit? Like, I think we'll beat them. As long as we go in with the right attitude. I like to go in to kill these teams, bruv. Do you know what I mean? I hope Jose doesn't try and, you know what I mean, try and do the tactical safe thing. I think we should just go and blow these lot away and make a statement, bruv. That's what we need to do. Like, bright and early, let these men know that, like, we're not playing around. Because we don't have an easy group.
No, we don't have an easy group. And that's what I was going to say next. Looking at the group, obviously, to go away to Juventus, I was watching them in the game that the thing happened with Costa with the spitting incident. I just watched the highlights of the game though, and Sao Solo. I know they came back into it. It's 2-1 in the end, it's close. But I just reminded myself of the players that they actually have.
Bruv,
and I was like, I saw Matuidi doing bits. You got Emre Can just behind them. Ronaldo running around doing his thing. Dybala, even Costa's done that thing. He might be banned, but. Dani Alves, is he still there? Yeah, I think he might be injured, but Dani Alves, Alexandro at the back. Yeah. Like, they've got some very good players. So you're looking at that home and away is going to be very tough, obviously. Yeah. Valencia, they're no mugs. No mugs.
We couldn't even beat Sevilla, blood. So
exactly.
You know the ones, we can't just be looking at.
So it's a tough group. I mean, what are you expecting from us? Honestly, when you look at that group, are you confident? And if you are confident coming out of that group and going into the knockout stages, what's success and what are you feeling about that?
I just feel like as long as we get further than last season, we have to just see that as success, bruv. Get out of the group, do you know what I mean? Get past the next stage and then get to anything past the quarters or up to the quarters even, you have to say is good, bruv. You know what I'm saying? But we just have to, I don't know, I don't think we have the squad to compete for the title and get a good Champions League run.
I think it's one or the other, or none.
Run and a good League Cup run.
Something's got to give.
Man don't have that depth in it. We don't. Like, you know what I'm saying? We don't even know what our best 11 is. Do you know what I mean? Let alone all this rotation thing. So, like, I would just say, we get out of that group. Even if we get to the quarterfinals, I have to say, it's successful, bruv, and we're Manchester United, and that just makes me feel sick to even say that.
That's like, even someone said to in the comments, they tweeted me actually saying, just back to the Watford game, the fact that we were like looking at that as a massitive game, and it was like, oh, how the mighty have fallen. Like,
bruv, it makes me feel sick, bruv. I remember when I used to watch Champions League, ITV,
Van Nistelrooy,
Van Nistelrooy, blood.
And Clive Tilsey was always the commentator, and just the way he's just saying, Van Nistelrooy gets in there, and it's Van Nistelrooy.
I'm telling you, Deportivo and that, bruv. Man remembers, Ruud Van Nistelrooy used to get a Champions League Old Trafford goal guaranteed. Guaranteed.
He had the record at one stage, didn't he? Ronaldo that broke it, but he had the record for the most Champions League games and goals in his team.
Guaranteed, blood. And understand, it took Wayne Rooney 12 years to equal the record that my man set. You know what I'm saying? In no time. That's how bad Ruud Van Nistelrooy was. Sick, man. He was a bad boy. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying?
He's probably, I'd say he's the best striker
that's ever played for us.
Yeah, he's definitely out that I've seen. I think so.
He is.
Yes, Eric Cantona is a different kettle of fish, more of attacking midfield. You know what I mean? But
Cantona played wherever he wanted. He wasn't a striker, innit? He was he was a creator. He played everywhere. Yeah. Do you know what I'm saying? Ruud Van Nistelrooy, the greatest striker, and he's the best finisher that the Premier League's ever seen, blood. The best striker is Thierry Henry. Thierry Henry is the best striker, but Thierry couldn't finish like Ruud, blood. Both feet in the air. Henry couldn't header like Ruud Van Nistelrooy. You mad?
Yeah, headers was his thing.
Near post runs and that. Ruud Van Nistelrooy.
One thing about Van Nistelrooy, his movement was brilliant.
Catching the ball in his chest, volley back.
That goal against Fulham.
Bruv, Ruud Van Nistelrooy is the
pace as well.
Best finisher.
Yeah.
Finisher. Yeah. You know what I mean? Henry best striker, but finisher, Ruud, blood. You know what I'm saying? So, Champions League, that's what I want them feelings back.
And is it because we don't have that level of striker up front? that level of clinicalness with the likes of Lukaku and stuff like that?
We don't, fam.
Is that why? And just these other teams have way better players than us. They are
way better.
They are strong from front to back with almost no weaknesses. You look at a Bayern Munich, you look at a Juventus, you look at Real Madrid, obviously Barca, the top teams. You look at them and there's almost, yes, every team has their weakness on their day.
Their bench is better than our first team.
Yeah, they're bringing like Asensio, well, not Bale anymore now, Ronaldo's gone, but Asensio and them kind of players off the bench and Isco and that.
Yeah, there's levels in it. There's levels to this football team.
And look, it's important
that's why the Champions League, I'm not focused too much on it because there's levels. We're not good enough when it comes to competing with these men. We're not.
And it's about realising that, innit? It's about just saying, you know what, you have to be, you know what you get from me and Rants. We don't just live in a bubble that's, like I always say, blinded by love. Yeah. We just say it as it is. I want us to, go on an amazing cup run. We've seen teams win it like that before, where you're not the best team in the competition. So of course that could happen to us. But if you're thinking logically, there's loads of teams that are better than us, and even Mourinho would say that. You know what I mean? He knows.
We don't have the quality.
He thinks Sevilla are better than us, so obviously.
We don't have the quality in depth, and for the money we've spent, we should have that blood. For the amount of wages that we pay and the size of our club, there's no reason why we shouldn't have that quality. It's just that we've invested very poorly. I mean, and that's what it goes down to. Obviously, the quality of the Ruud van Nistelrooy strikers, they don't exist in world football at the moment. Like, there's no strikers of that ilk no more. Obviously, like, you got your Lewandowskis and that, but other than that, like, stone cold finishers, like, there's not many. Like, you couldn't name me 5. Do you know what I'm saying?
I mean, what? Aguero?
Yeah, Aguero, Suarez,
Kane?
You could say Harry Kane, even though he's not on the best form right now, but Kane's up there in terms of top finishes.
Lewandowski, definitely.
And Louis, and that's it, bruv. And then who else? And then who else? And you know what I mean, Griezmann's not an out-and-out striker.
Yeah, you're right. The number 9 game is dying.
The number 9 game is dying, like, do you know what I mean?
And back then there was like, I remember in a different argument we was having with someone else, he was like, yeah, but look at the calibre of player that there was back then. There was loads. You had Shevchenko, you had Crespo, you had Totti, you had flipping, the list goes on. You had Ronaldo. Do you know what I mean? It was a lot better.
We're Batistuta. You could keep going. Like Adriano, like Romario. All these men were just banging in goals, bruv. Do you know what I mean? Even Vieri and Trezeguet and all these other guys, bruv. There's so many. Now they ain't strikers like that no more. Do you know what I mean? So that's why you're looking at Lukaku and thinking you spent 75 M's on him, blood. Plus Wayne Rooney, that was about 90 million for that. Like, do you know what I mean? Like 90 million. Do you know what 90 M's could have got you, like, back in the day?
Oh, God.
Do you know what I'm saying? Man could have got R9 for that.
It get you the phenom. Get you the original Ronaldo.
R9 for that. It get you Raul or something like that.
Raul. Morientes.
Yeah, all these men, even Morientes weren't all that, but he was still bagging goals, blood. I'm saying that it was mad.
Raul, definitely. He had the Champions League record as well. I mean,
even David Villa in his prime.
David Villa, another one.
Like, there are so many cruddy finishers. And
Etu. In his prime.
You see? There's so many bad.
The list goes on. I think the point's been made that, the golfing class is definitely
there's not strikers like that in the game no more, innit? Like, the game's evolved, so...
There's another game in this time before we have the Netflix Rant show. Wolves coming up.
Yes.
They can play. They can play.
Yes, they can.
Do we change our tactics with that? Do we take Fellaini out of that midfield?
Nah, bruv, leave it exactly how it is. And just beat them, blood. I don't care how, innit? Like, I'm not going to be at the game. I'm going to be in Paris, blood, but I'll watch it there. But yeah, just beat them, innit? By any means necessary. I don't care what it looks like right now. You know what I'm saying?
Rants in Paris as well. What you going to do? City you love?
Nah, road trip.
Are you going to man them, yeah?
Road trip, yeah, man them are driving, you know what I'm saying? 4 of us,
imagine sitting in a car with Rants for all the way to France, listening to him, getting angry about something or cussing someone out. Would you be able to cope with that?
It's calm, you get me?
What you like on long journeys?
Nice, chilled one, it's fine as well.
We're alright when we're going up to Manchester.
Yeah, exactly, it's fine.
Once the music's on, Rants is just in.
As long as I got my food, blood, my music, it's calm, innit? So, like, just get the 3 points. Like, Wolves are a decent team, but again, let's not respect them, man. I'm not trying to hear about it's Wolves, blood.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying?
If we turn up and play at Old Trafford, I don't care about Neves and all them, man.
Man don't care.
We should be slapping them.
Get slapped, bruv. Do you know what I mean? And go home sorry.
Before we go, I have got to remind you guys about these tickets. I keep saying it. Remember, follow United Stand TV Instagram account. That's what it's called, United Stand TV. Drop your comment on the picture of the tickets and make sure you're following us, because if you're not and you comment and I see it, you're not going to win. So it's going to be selected at random and we're going to check that you're following as well. That will be up after this post. I'm going to go and do that after this video, so I'm going to go and do that. So thank you lot for watching. Rants, it's been a pleasure again. You know what we do.
Always, man. Big up, guys, man. Keep the comments, keep the interaction, keep tweeting us. Make sure you follow us on Twitter, FlexUTD on Twitter and Instagram. Make sure you follow both because we're interactive, man. Always posting stories at Rants and Bants on Twitter and Instagram, bruv. Like, just keep it interactive. Keep us in the loop, bruv. Like, we put out a tweet today asking you what you wanted us to talk about.
Loads of you came back, brilliant.
Loads of you got back to us, and then we put it on the show. So, do you know what I'm saying? Make sure you're following us and make sure you stay in contact. Leave your comments.
Guys, see you later. After 2 wins against Young Boys and Wolves. Actually, before we go, wait there. What's the score? Prediction, Young Boys.
2-0.
Prediction, Wolves.
2-0, bruv.
Okay, I'm going 2-1 Young Boys.
2 clean sheets, bruv. 2
clean sheets. I'm going to say 2-1 Young Boys. I think we'll concede. Don't ask me why, I just feel like we will. But I think we'll keep a clean sheet against Wolves at Old Trafford with the place rocking. I'm going to be optimistic. I'm going to say 3-0. Yeah, 3-0. Thanks for watching, guys. Check you lot late next week.